Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me today. On behalf of the library, just want to welcome you to Missouri Western, and we look forward to meeting and getting to know all of you. My name is Rachel Lundy, and I'm Special Collections and Reference Librarian here at Missouri Western. And today, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the tools the library has available to help you with your research projects. So I'm going to go over our library databases, how to get help, also cover a little bit about time management and procrastination. So I'm going to start with a little bit of information about the library itself. The library is located in Hearn Center. In case any of you haven't been into the library or haven't visited campus yet, our current hours vary a little bit from day to day. So if you go out to our library website, you're going to see our current hours for that day posted. We also do offer virtual help certain times when the building is closed. So if you go to the homepage, it'll tell you if we're available virtually as well. And I'll go over virtual help a little bit later. Some of the services we provide, of course, we have books, databases, we have individual and group study rooms, computer labs, we have laptops available to use in the library. We also have course reserve materials. So textbooks for some of your gen ed courses might be available to use in the library. And then of course we have our research assistants from our librarians. One of the most important services the library provides is access to scholarly sources. So when you're working on a research project, this is the type of source you're most likely going to be looking for. Scholarly sources are primarily found in academic journals. These are research-focused articles that are published by experts in the field that you're studying. So these articles are often peer-reviewed. That's a phrase you'll hear often regarding these articles. And what that actually means is they undergo a review process by scholars in the author's field. And this is to ensure accurate information is being published. So you might be wondering, where do I find these scholarly sources? And you're going to find them in our library databases. Library databases are search engines that allow you to search for credible reviewed sources. And the library subscribes to these databases, but they're free for all students to use. So I'm going to go ahead and show you where those are located. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a browser. And if you go to the Missouri Western homepage and then scroll down, you'll find a link to the library right there. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. All right, so this is our library homepage. If you scroll down, this is where you're always going to find our current hours. We're going to go ahead and scroll up and hover over this online resources link. And this is going to give you a list of some of our more used databases. Academic Search Complete is probably what you'll use most often the first year or so. And that's a multidisciplinary database that covers a vast array of topics. But we're going to go ahead and click on databases. And this is going to give us a list from A to Z of all of the databases that Missouri Western subscribes to. And if you scroll up here, if you click on this drop down, you can actually narrow this down by subject. So let's say you're wanting to do some research in the field of history. If you click on history, these are going to show you some of the databases that are specific to that field. But we're going to go ahead and pull all of the databases back up. And I just want to show you Academic Search Complete real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And if you're off campus, you're going to see this login screen, which you won't see if you're on campus. And you're just going to use your Canvas login to log into the library databases. It's the same login information. All right, so that logs us into the database. And I'm just going to do a quick search, companion animals and mental health. And you'll see that brought up 172 articles. A couple real quick limiters I want to point out to you. You'll see full text over here, and if you check that box, it's going to limit your views to only articles that you can access right then and there that Missouri Western subscribes to. Another is scholarly peer-reviewed journals, which we talked a little bit about earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And you can also narrow this down by date if you're looking for more current information about something. So I'm going to limit the date a little bit. And you'll see that brought our search results down a little bit. So I'm going to just click on this first article. And you'll see a link to the site over here. And just click on that. And that gives you access to that article. Another really great tool that we have available is something called Library Access. And what this is a browser extension that is free for MWSU students to use. And it points users to full text resources available through the library's subscriptions while you're browsing the open web off campus. And it's available for all major browsers. So whether you're using Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Opera, Edge, you can download and install this extension on any of those browsers. So I want to show you just a quick video about it just to kind of get a little better idea of how this works.
Library Access provides seamless, off-campus access to any licensed e-resource at your library. With the browser plugin activated and my institution chosen, I can go about my research. Say I'm starting a research session on Google, and I end up on JSTOR. Library Access recognizes I have access and sends me to my library's authentication page. Once I log in, I now have access to JSTOR. For the rest of my browser session, I can gain seamless access to other e-resources from my library. Say my professor suggested I go to Science Direct. I'm automatically authenticated thanks to the access provided by Library Access and my library. Off-campus researching just got much easier.
Another really great research tool that we have available for you are something called library guides. These are guides created by our librarians on a large variety of subjects. We have course-specific guides. We have subject-specific guides. We also have general information guides. So I want to show you real quick where to locate those. So if you go out to the library main page and you scroll down, you'll see a link here for library guides. And you can narrow these down by the librarian. You can also look at all of our library guides. And you can also narrow these down by subject. So let's say you wanted to research something about art. So you just click on art, and this is our art research guide. This is going to have links. It will have various places to search for articles related to art. It's also going to have our book catalogs, a place for you to search for ebooks for things related to art, reference materials. Websites also contain some videos. So these can be really helpful if you have the subject matter narrowed down and you want to know exactly where to search for information on that specific subject. Another really great resource we have is Librarians. So if you're stuck, you just need some guidance, you need some help narrowing down a topic, looking for keywords, anything like that, Librarians can help. We're available via chat, text, email, phone, in person. Due to COVID, we are encouraging students to contact us virtually first. We also have something called Book a Librarian, and we can meet via Zoom or Google Hangouts for Book a Librarian. We have a link on our website that's going to let you fill out a form to tell us a little bit of information about what you're looking for, and then a librarian will get in touch with you to set up a one-on-one meeting so we can have a little more lengthy conversation about what you need help with. I just want to briefly show you how you can contact us virtually. So I'm going to go ahead and open back up to the library website. And if you scroll down, you're going to see a chat box right here. So as you can see right now, we're closed, so chat is offline. But if we are available, there's going to be a little green box right here that says we're available. So you just type your question into this chat box and a librarian will answer you. And if you scroll down, you'll see here's a phone number for if you need research help, and then also the email address for our reference desk, and that'll email all of the reference librarians. Now that we talked a little bit about some of the library tools that are available for you to use in your research, I want to go over a few other important things that I think are going to help you with research and even beyond that with just studying, even in the workplace. One of the major obstacles that all of us face when we're trying to work on a project is distractions. And I know that I have a lot of distractions. I'm sure you do too. They're everywhere. We've got social media, we've got video streaming, we have video games, so on and so forth. We're just kind of surrounded by them. So, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is focus is a skill. So, just like anything, just like if you're playing lacrosse, baseball, to get better at it, you have to practice at it. And you can do that with focus too. One thing to think about, once you get distracted, it takes on average about 23 minutes to get back to what you were working on. So even a few distractions over a 3 hour time period is going to take up about a third of your time. So if you learn how to focus and learn how to get rid of those distractions, you're going to be able to do a lot more work in a lot less time. A really good resource that we have at the library is a book called Deep Work if you want to learn a little bit more about distractions and time management, things like that. Cal Newport is a college professor. He wrote a couple other books, one called How to Become a Straight A Student, another called How to Win at College. And so he does have kind of a college student centric focus, but he calls deep work a professional activity performed in a state of distraction free concentration that helps push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. So his focus on this book, no pun intended, is learning how to focus. So come check that out at the library if you're interested in learning a little bit more. So I want to go over a few things that Cal Newport talks about in his books that have been really helpful for me with me trying to learn how to focus more. And one of those is turning off your phone and distancing yourself from social media during your study time. And I don't necessarily power down my phone, but I do have apps that'll block certain apps from me during certain times so that I'm not tempted to look at them. You can also set up your phone to limit the amount of time you spend on certain apps. So if you have certain apps that are a real time waster for you, you can set your phone up to only allow you to use that for maybe 1 hour a day, something like that. So that's also something that I do. Something really important when you're trying to get into a state of deep work is finding a quiet study space. The library, as I mentioned before, has some individual study rooms. Now, I know a lot of you might not be on campus this semester, so if you have a room in your house that you can have some privacy, even if it's a garage, if you can't find privacy, if you have some earbuds, pop those in with some relaxing music to kind of block out the rest of the world. I've even practiced speeches in my car before just to get some privacy. So it's really important just to find what works for you and try to find a place where you can sit down and actually focus on what you're trying to do. Another really important one is scheduling your study time. If you're like me, if I just wait until I have time for something, I don't generally make time for it. So when I actually put something on my calendar, I'm more likely to do it. And that's really effective when you're trying to get a research project done and you have to have certain things done by a certain time. So that's a really good one. And another really good one is scheduling a weekly review. And these don't take a long time. Just take a few minutes on a Saturday or Sunday and just look back at what you did the previous week so you can see what you did well, what you can improve on, and you can also look forward a couple weeks. So see what assignments you have coming up, and that's going to eliminate any kind of big surprises. And so speaking of being surprised by an upcoming assignment, I also want to talk a little bit about procrastination. Contrary to what we like to tell ourselves, we don't generally work best under pressure. And one thing that really can't be rushed is research projects. So, procrastinating on a research project is going to result in some serious stress, and you're probably not going to get the grade that you really should be getting. Um, Something to remember with procrastination is it's really rarely about laziness. I know a lot of people think that when you procrastinate, you're just being lazy, and that's actually not true. There are a lot of reasons why people procrastinate. One big one is instant gratification. We don't like the process. We just want to get from A to B as quickly as possible and skip all the in between. Another is disinterest. So if you're able to choose your research topic, it's really important, I think, to pick something that you're interested in learning about. Otherwise, you're not going to be as inclined to work on it. Another one is perfectionism. Some people, they just want to be perfect, and so they're worried about even starting because they're worried about failing. And that kind of ties in with self doubt as well. And then poor planning. And then sometimes it's just a habit, and habits are something you can break. So it's really important to kind of narrow down the reasons why you procrastinate so that you can teach yourself not to do that. And one helpful thing is to set SMART goals. So that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, specific, what do you want to accomplish? Measurable, how are you going to know when you're done? Achievable, don't set yourself up for failure, set realistic goals. Relevant, is this something important? Does this meet the criteria of your assignment? And then also time bound. I think it's really important to focus on concrete deadlines. So even if you're setting smaller short time deadlines, that's going to help you keep on track throughout that research process. I just want to leave you with one final thought. We have a lot of really overwhelming things going on right now, and overwhelming for a lot of different reasons. And sometimes it's important just to take a step back and just take a deep breath. Breathing is really important, and it can impact your entire body. It can increase oxygen levels, which bring a sense of calm to your brain and your body. It can lower blood pressure. It can reduce heart rate. It's good. It pulls the focus from your mind to your body to kind of release some of those stressful thoughts. So I just want to tell you about a breathing method called four square breathing. And this is just 4 seconds of inhaling, 4 seconds of holding your breath, 4 seconds of exhaling, and then repeat that 4 times. And hopefully that can help reset you, rejuvenate you, and get you ready to go again. So I just want to thank you for visiting with me today. I want to welcome you again to Missouri Western, and I hope you guys have a great semester. Thank you.